Welcome back to BathBrickers. My name is Rich, and like many other people in the Lego community, I have been standing in a Lego store or in a supermarket with a QR code reader trying to figure out which of the minifigures is in the Series 25. So what I'm really hoping is in here I should have at least one mushroom sprite and probably one goat herder. And then, so we'll open those on screen, and then we'll also open up a couple of Marvel Series 2 minifigures just to show how one of the other approaches that you can take to finding out what is in a box doesn't work, which was really quite terrible. So let's see, and there we are. We can see that we've got a mushroom sprite, which is fantastic. I think you might have heard me say on a previous video I was actually really only after two of the minifigures. One was this little person, and then the other one was the Triceratops costume person. I still can't find one of those, so I'm not quite sure what we're going to do with that. So hopefully one day that will come up. So that's one. I think this is a second. I just there's a bit of an issue with one of the codes, so I wasn't quite sure what was going to happen, but yes, very good. So there you can see in the box we have got a second sprite, so I won't get that one out, and I'll figure out what to do. That might give that to Otto or to one of the other kids, so we'll see what happens. And then, is this a goat? We will find out, and I don't quite know what I'm going to do with it. Yes, it is a goat. So on this particular occasion, the scanning has worked, which is fantastic. What I did notice was that on scanning some of the QR codes actually meant that the code wasn't recognizable. Now I don't know if that was the scanner that I was using or if that's just something that happened, but that didn't seem to work on some of the, I would say probably at least half, I would say, of the boxes. It didn't work. So interesting to know if anybody else had that experience. But the other thing I did want to share with people is I used one of the other methods that you could sometimes have, which is looking at the box distribution. Oh, little spoiler there maybe. Box distribution for minifigures. So often people, once they've opened figures, the way that Lego packs them in the factory, they have the same distribution, so that, you know, for example, you know, a She-Hulk is in positions 1 to 3 on the bottom, then it might be Moon Knight and so on and so forth. So I looked at one of the distribution charts, and I suspect what might have happened is I used one that was maybe for the American market rather than from the European market, because much to my disappointment, I was after, I think, a Moon Knight. Is that right? The white one with this guy here, because I just really like the cape and I think it's great and would look good in my minifigure collection. But instead what I ended up with was not just one of whatever this one is called. I think, is it Beast or something like that, but two of them, which is absolutely, oh, his head escapes over there, absolutely no good at all. So for me, that box distribution method didn't work. Perhaps maybe I just can't count, and actually it would have worked perfectly well, or I just used the wrong image of the box distribution or something like that. So that didn't work, but as you can see here, I'm very pleased that I've ended up with a mushroom sprite, just a couple of the pieces from that, which are really going to help me. So I know everyone wants to get complete series, and I know that we used to be able to feel the bags, and many a happy hour was spent feeling bags in supermarkets and so on. I'm not quite sure how I felt about the QR thing. Even with the feeling the bags, there was still an element of luck or, you know, skill or what have you, whereas this feels just like brute force. And maybe I'm just being a bit nostalgic, but there is an element of romance that I think is being perhaps lost through QR scanning and just getting the minifigure that you want that way. But I don't know, you know, I'm not quite sure how I feel about it, but it was just, that's how I felt when I was standing in the Lego store yesterday going through all of this stuff to try and get some of the figures that I wanted. Anyway, hope that was of interest. Good to know that I got the mushroom sprite. I'll show you where they will go with all of my other food minifigures. But in the meantime, thanks ever so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.